guys, welcome back to the Command Your Brand Show. I am your host, Josh Silvestro, brand ambassador of Command Your Brand. If you guys like podcasts, please check us out at www.commandyourbrand.com if you want to take command of your brand. And also to check out our new book that's all about podcasting, how to get on podcasts and what to do when you're on a podcast at www.bestpodcastingbook.com. In this episode, I actually have a very special guest speaker I love to talk about because, it's funny enough, she doesn't know this, but my stepmother is actually a health coach, which is kind of a funny thing. So I actually love to talk to people who are into this world of health and fitness and things like that. And she's just a really awesome and amazing person. She's a health coach and she just has a new app coming out for health and fitness. And I'd just like to introduce you guys to Ariana. So Ariana, thanks for coming to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Josh. I'm super excited. And I actually did know that.
Oh, you did?
Yes, about your mom, because she's the one that introduced me to Command Your Brand. So it's been
wow.
great. It's been a great
awesome
experience so far.
That's great. So I guess we'll first start off with, so people who don't know who you are. So could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from, and then also why'd you get into fitness?
Sure. Man, it's definitely not a simple, straight answer. So I'm originally from California.
Nice.
I think people think of California as like a healthy place, and that rang true in my family. My mom was a dietitian, and so she was very much into nutrition. And my dad is 74, and he still has a six-pack. So he's pretty impressive.
You have to teach me how to do that.
Yeah, right? Yeah, he's been on American Ninja Warrior. I mean, he's done a lot of cool stuff. He competes in like senior fitness games. So I really grew up very honestly experiencing, fitness and nutrition in my life. But what I ended up going to school for was accounting, of all things. I don't know why. It just seemed really safe. And like, I'd always have a job, death and taxes.
Yeah.
But after I did that for a while, I actually worked for a healthcare company in finance. And when I had my daughter, Luna, hence the name LunaFit, our brand name, it really gave me a different perspective on how I wanted to spend my time and what I wanted to do. And so I quit my corporate job, and the only other thing I knew anything about was health and fitness. And so I basically started LunaFit as a mommy and me class. I wore my daughter and taught workout classes and help new moms lose weight with good nutrition. And it just started expanding from there and growing and turning into what it is today with, now we have a fitness center and a meal prep company. We have a small supplement line, and then we're about to launch this app. So it's really just been an overwhelmingly great thing in my life, all stemming from having my daughter. So it's been an amazing experience.
I find it's interesting too. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are like, they're all trying about losing weight. And I think just keeping themselves healthy, especially 2024 has been like, we're all trying to figure out how to do it and like what to do. And some people like, they believe anything they kind of hear or watch. So it's like, how do you know what's the truth about it and like what to actually do is right? So I guess like, you've obviously dealt with moms who struggle with probably, I assume, losing the baby fat or the baby weight because they've gained from so much from being pregnant for 9 months.
Yeah.
What do you find is the key thing to actually losing that weight?
Yeah. So people say lose weight a lot, but I should actually make a clarification because we always want to help people lose body fat.
Yeah.
Weight doesn't really matter. People can be at lots of different weights, but you really just want to have a low body fat, good heart health and all of that is really what makes you healthy and look better and feel better. There is so much information out there. And to me, the body's really adaptable. So you can lose weight a million different ways. It's just a calorie deficit. That's why, keto diets and, all those different things, they work. You'll lose weight. But I think the difference for me and why I got really passionate about the industry in general is it has to be sustainable. And you want it to not only make you look good on the outside, but also keep your insides healthy. And so, our approach is really heavy on the nutrition piece, and just really having it be balanced. So I think the best way to weed out the information out there is really find something that works for you. But I also believe in coaching and anything that you need help with in life, which is why I love being a health coach and a personal trainer, because I think that people really need that. And, we can really tailor things to an individual.
Yeah. I think it's funny. Do you mostly your clients are women, or are they mostly are men, or are they both?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely both. Especially because I do this with my husband. So I think the men kind of trend towards him and the women kind of trend towards me most of the time.
Is he also a coach as well, or just you?
Yep. No, he actually does more personal training than I do.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really
Wow.
great trainer. I think he loves the fitness side more and I love the nutrition side more.
Yeah.
So it's a good blend.
It's a 1-2 punch. I could see
Yeah,
that. That's very
yes.
cool. What do you find is like the most successful for anyone really to like really hone in on what the right thing is to do, what not the right thing to do? Because I know there's obviously, as you know, there's just so much to dissect and kind of figure out what's good for you, what's not. So like, how would someone figure that out, do you think?
I think finding an expert is key. I think it's in anything, right? You know, like anything you don't know how to do, you really want to seek out an expert. And I feel like for some reason, people feel like they shouldn't do that when it comes to their health and nutrition, especially when it's proactive rather than going to a doctor or something like that. But it really is something important. You get one body, and you really want to make it last and in a good way. So I think finding an expert, and if you don't want to find an expert, I would say look for things that don't take away food groups. Anything that completely removes a food group from your diet isn't really healthy. It's not how we are meant to operate. And then something that focuses on natural whole foods. So I personally don't believe in all of the shots and things like that. Yes, they work. The body's adaptable. You know, it will work. But if you're not combining it with movement and proper nutrition, you're just going to end up with more problems long term, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too. I guess like, you know, because there's so many, I don't know, I found, especially I'm from the New York area and the Jersey space.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people, there's actually, funny enough, there's actually a lot of fitness coaches and health experts in here, you know what I mean? So it's like, I guess for you, like as a business, I don't know if you're still in California, but like for you, like what did you find, what were the challenges you found in running your business? Or
I'm actually in Florida now.
Oh, great.
So I've been here a really long time, over 20 years.
Wow.
Just one coast to the other. But I think really starting the business, there's a few things. One is people tend to see their nutrition and exercise as something that's not a priority. I think just the world we live in here, especially in the US, I think it's not a focus. We have so many other competing priorities that it tends to go on the back burner just because we have so much pressure on us to perform at work and do things for our families and all of the other things that are competing, that it tends to be something that's not focused on. So helping people understand how important it really is and how being healthy can actually improve all those other areas of your life. I think that's a major challenge, just getting people in the door and explaining to them why it's important, why they want to spend money on it, right? Because, you know, you got to charge for your services if you want to survive. So I think that's actually just one of the biggest challenges in the health and fitness space.
Yeah. I think it's funny too. I don't know if you're a social media kind of girl, but like I know for some people, like my fiance who loves like TikToks and Facebooks and Instagrams, right? And there's actually funny, and YouTube too. I'm a very big YouTube guy. Yeah. And there's like all these trends of like what people should do, like of like, you know, fitnesses or eating habits. Yeah. Do you find a lot of them to be true, do you think? Or are they like a lot of fake?
So I will say that I would say in the last, I want to say a couple years, I do think it's improved a lot. I think that you're seeing a lot more real information that's focusing on having a balanced lifestyle. So the basics, getting your steps in, eating whole foods. I do think that there's been a trend, especially in modern social media, towards those things, which I think is the way to go. Yeah. But in the past, it's been terrible. all of the, you know, fad diets and all of the medical stuff now and all of that. I mean, that's really what was popular for a long time. And the girls with the fake butts and, you know. Yeah.
If you ever see, I don't know if you ever seen this movie. I don't know why I used to love this movie as a kid. I think because my mom used to like this movie. Was Devil Wears Prada, when they had that cheese diet. They like they eat the cheese diet, like they like want to look real thin.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's what was very trendy for a long time was, you know, what one food can we eat, or what food group can we eliminate, or, you know, how can we fake exercise with weird things that shake our bodies and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, no, that's not it. It's not the one.
What do you find is like, are there like key exercises that people do, you think, that actually help with weight loss or anything of that nature?
So it's kind of crazy because I'm in, you know, we own a gym. So we're very big on lifting weights and all of that. And I definitely believe in that. I think for multiple reasons, you know, more muscle burns more calories. So you can actually eat more the more muscle you have. So you do want to spend some time lifting some weights. Bone density, there's so many reasons that lifting weights is important. But the main thing that we've found with clients, and even myself personally, is it's more important to be active every day. And how we like to translate that to clients is getting steps in. So if I were to tell people to do one thing, it would be to try to hit 7,000 to 10,000 steps every single day. Being active is so much more important than we think it is. And it contributes so much more to actually losing weight than most other things do. So it's crazy. Just walking.
Yeah. I mean, that is probably the simplest way. Like, you know, I know people who are like, you know, I'm sure you've probably seen people who are like 400 or 500 pounds and like, they're just walking like, you know, a football field is like, they have to huff and puff, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that bad. But like, what do you, like, as like people who are just getting started with it, or like maybe they're not really exercising as much as they should. Like, is there a gradient step approach to actually achieving that, do you think?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think there's people that even on my worst days, sometimes I'll look at my my watch and I'll have like 3,000 steps and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to do something about this. But I think the world that we live in and work in now, where we're sitting all day and we're not active and all of those things, I think it makes a big difference. So I always say, like, look at your average. First, have something that counts your step, whether it's a pedometer or a watch or something, so you have some idea of what you're doing. And then, you know, look at your average and just add 2,000. And once you hit that, add another 1,000, you know? And just really, but your goal's got to be between that 7 and 10 range, no matter who you are. That's really where you want to aim for your sweet spot. But yeah, you can definitely work up to it.
Yeah. Do you find, because I know for me, I'm a big technology type person. I'm also super interested in like the way things are going, especially in 2025, 26 and beyond that. Do you find like fitness in general is changing, and like, what do you think is going to look like in the future?
Yeah. So it's so interesting that you said that, because I'm actually not a technology person, which is really funny because I'm about to launch an app and everyone makes fun of me. They're like, are you even going to use this app? But I do. I love our app. But I think that we have a lot of AI aspects into it, and things like that. And it's very much a like coaching app. Oh, wow. To where like my husband and I are basically like, you can choose your coach in the app, and we'll actually coach you through everything that you're doing. And we really started it because when COVID hit and we had to shut our gym down and we took everything online, and we got really resourceful. We rented our equipment to our clients so that they could work out from home, and we streamed all our workouts, online. And we saw it. It was like a picture into the future of, okay, so many people aren't going to want to come back to the gym. This is such a viable model, but the coaching and personal training aspect is so important, because even for myself, like sometimes I'll schedule something with one of my trainers just so I make sure I get a workout in. Because again, like I said, prioritizing it is tough. It's just a tough thing to prioritize. So we saw that, yes, we're going to go to technology, but if you just have a workout app where, you know, it just sits in your phone and maybe you work out, maybe you don't, no one's going to be successful. So how can we actually, take what we do in person and put it into an app? So for me, technology is going to make it to where we're even going to go further than, an online trainer and actually have it in an app, which is what everybody is using now. But where someone's actually coaching you and learning you and understanding you and really translating workouts and your food into something that you'll do and that will help you get healthier. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me, like, I don't know if there's like a male, like a gender type thing, like, oh, is a male or female? Like you're the female and your husband's the male.
Yeah.
But I find it so cool because I actually did want to talk to you about that, about your app. Like, so I guess like could you tell us a little bit about the app and like what I guess you kind of sort of said like what the goal is, but what is the overall purpose of the app?
Yeah. So for me, I really want to make, I'll sound super cheesy right now, the world a healthier place. Yes. But I genuinely do. Like the health crisis in America really bothers me. Yeah. And so when we started doing this, I really wanted to do something that would hopefully affect that, dreaming big, is the way you have to go. And so instead of it just being an app, we wanted it to be very holistic and balanced. So it has a little bit of everything in it. You can track your hydration, which is really important, track steps, it gives you workouts, gives you nutrition plan, tracks your sleep. So it's really a total view of your health. And it takes all of the stats of all of that and gives you data on how you can improve. But like I said, we actually coach you in the app. So we're going to say, this is what you need to eat. This is the workout you need to do. We're going to coach you through your workout just as if you were in a gym with your trainer, and just really making it personal and making it feel like we're invested in your health, even though we're not there with you in person, because really behind the scenes we are. Like we really, truly do care about you getting healthier, and we want that to translate.
That's so cool. And I think what's important too is like we're coming to a time where like, we're like out of the COVID era where like we're basically all the kids and everyone was sitting out their couch watching Netflix and eating things, especially now. Also too, we're coming out of the holidays, which a lot of people are actually getting even worse. And it's like, now we're into the new time. Okay. Like we're in the new year, and, people want to change their decisions on how they take care of themselves, which I think is super important.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool too, is that you have an app that just kind of, in a way, kind of does it for you. Obviously they do the workout, but really just helps them, guide them. Because I think people don't know what to do. And I think that's what people have the hardest time is like, what do I do? How do I do it? And what comes next? You know what I mean? So I think that's super important.
Totally agree. Yeah. I think that's most of the reasons that we hear that people haven't started in the past is because they just didn't know what to do. I don't know what to eat. I don't know what workouts to do. And so just being able to help more people than we could in person in our little 5-mile radius of what people will drive to a gym is just, it's really, really exciting. And we did kind of tap into playing off of what you said about kind of like the video game aspect. Like we're also trying to tap into kind of that gaming aspect. So like our avatars look a little bit, video game-ish, and we have some challenges in there, and you'll be able to compete with your friends, and you earn what we call moon rocks.
Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to earn moon rocks and you'll be able to spend them in our marketplace. So we're trying to tap into that generation as well that is very interested in gaming and, make it fun, right? If it's not fun, who wants to do it?
Yeah. It's hilarious because did you ever, I don't know if you ever see the Nintendo, they have a Nintendo workout kit I think it's called Ring Fit, which is basically, it's like a big ring and it's like, they hold on and they have to like do this a lot and like jump and it's really hysterical, but it actually does really work. It gets you like really working for you, like to play in the game. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So since you're obviously a very good expert in the field of, fitness and nutrition, what are some because I'm always kind of curious what other people might think about this is what are some misconceptions that you find like with people that you deal with in terms of fitness and in terms of what they need to eat and stuff like that? I'm kind of curious what you think about that.
Yeah. My biggest thing on the nutrition side is you don't have to eliminate food groups. You don't have to never have, a glass of wine or a donut again. Like you can fit those things in and still be really healthy. It's all about balance and moderation. Right. I think that's a big misconception. And people never understand that a lot of times they actually need to be eating more just of the right foods. Like they're really afraid they're going to starve, but no one who has ever started a nutrition plan with us has been hungry. So that's definitely a big misconception. On the fitness side, I think that people think they really have to lift weights like, 5, 6, 7 days a week in the gym, but they don't. If you can just lift 3 days a week, and then again, that activity part though, right? Like you have to be active. But it doesn't have to be as hard as people think it is. I think they don't start because they think it's so much and it's going to be so hard and it's going to be so many changes. But if you just make a few small tweaks here and there, and even over time, really more than, how hard it has to be, it's really about consistency.
Right.
So if you just pick 2 things and you're really consistent in them for the next year, I mean, you would see huge differences just with that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be so hard.
What do you find are like the key, like hands down, if you did these 3 simple or 4 simple exercises, you will see immediate changes? What are some exercises do you think that would be good for people? Push-ups. You can't get away from push-ups. Push-ups are just such a great exercise. Yeah. Squats, like body weight squats. Mm-hmm. If I were to have a client do like 4 exercises from home, I would say push-ups, body weight squats, walking lunges, and crunches. Yeah. I know for me, my biggest fear is I want to be the 1,000-pound life on the show. I don't know if you ever seen that show. They're like 1,000-pound life. And it's just like, they look like they've struggled for so long. And it's like, gosh, I don't want to end like that. How do I get to a gym? Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting too, because I think it's so important that, we need to exercise the body because, obviously our bodies aren't like lasting forever, but like they obviously have there's going to be a point in time where like the body's starting to die, like not die down, but like it gets weaker and weaker as we get older. And to keep it stronger and like keep it that way, it's like, especially you mentioned your dad, who was like a, you know, an Olympic, I don't know, he sounded like an Olympic gold medal over there, like just can like lift and has a six pack at age, you know, 75. It's kind of like
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I always say to people, they're really worried about, there's two different things, right? Like there's aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you want to look a certain way. But to me, more importantly, especially as we age, the thing to focus on is quality of life. You really want to have quality of life as you age. And doing that is really staying fit. And again, it goes back to, I'm going to say it over and over again, walk. Just go outside and walk. Even walk with a pair of weights and maybe do some, you know, little curls while you're walking or something like that. But just staying active will help your quality of life so much. It's the people that sit down and don't get up that can't get up. So
how do you also like into, because I know you have obviously, you know, you have a kid also, you also have a husband. How do you balance that? Because, you know, a lot of us, especially who are CEOs and founders, you know, the thing that we struggle with the most is the time. Time has always been a problem of like, how do I balance the kid and the wife and or the husband and how do I balance that with the work? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, man, I'm not going to say I'm good at it. So I'll say what I try to do. I do think that my husband and I say a lot, like we wish that we had done this at 25 before kids kind of thing, you know, just because it would be so much easier. But then also like, I wouldn't have this. Our businesses literally have our daughter's name on it. And I never would have left my corporate job without having her. So, you know, it's like a double-sided coin, right? As far as balancing, I feel like it helps and hurts that I work with my husband. Like it's really hard because we have to be in such a tough work environment and we're running so many businesses, probably too many, but we're kind of both serial entrepreneurs. And we keep providing what our clients are asking us for. That's how we keep doing different businesses. But just making time for each other outside of the business to talk about something other than work is important. And then we kind of divide and conquer. So he does probably more of the business side of things more consistently. And I do more of the, you know, home things more consistently. But again, I don't think I'm great at it. I think that it's still a work in progress. And I think balance for anybody is hard. I think is the biggest tip that I would say is understanding that someone else's balance isn't yours. So everyone's view of balance is different, and just finding what works for you and what's comfortable for you and not letting anyone else tell you whether it's right or wrong is really important. So, you know, I have key things that I want to make sure. My husband and I each pick up our daughter from school one day a week. That's kind of like our day that afternoon that we take with her. And then other people help us out throughout the week so that we can be in our businesses. And that feels good for us. And so just finding those little things that make it feel good for you and like you're getting what you need out of everything, I think is really important.
I was actually just going to ask you, which I think you kind of answered, was how do you like, you know, what advice would you give to other people? Like I said, there are other coaches or other founders that like maybe have the same problem of like they've, you know, I've ran into people who are like, oh, I have 3 kids and I'm trying to run a business. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like a single mom. I'm like, that's even crazier. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how single moms do it, but they just kind of do it. But like, especially because you have a husband and you have a kid, it's like, I can see like how you juggle everything. It's kind of interesting.
It is very interesting. And God bless anyone that does it without help, because we do have a lot of help. We have good friends and good family, and we have a good team as well. So, you know, we're able to, you know, hand off some things that need to be handed off and just try and create that balance. But I don't think if anyone else looked at most entrepreneurs' life, would call it balanced. So like I said, I think that you have to find what balance means to you and make those things work and go from there. Because if you let other people tell you what balance looks like, it's going to be a real struggle. It's very interesting because, like, you know, that's when people want the freedom to actually do what they love to do. And I think also too, it's like, this is not for you. It's not work. It's actually something fun that you can do and that you really appreciate because it's something you like to do. You know? Yeah. Like most Saturdays, I go into the kitchen and I cook with my chef, and I don't have to, but I like it. I enjoy it. And I think that this isn't a job to me. I think that the people that we've been able to help and the changes that we've made and the impact we've made is big. And my hope is that, like I said, this app, you know, expands that exponentially and makes a real difference in people's lives as far as bringing them easy, fun ways to improve their health.
Yeah. Now I'm also kind of curious too, because obviously for you, you have a kind of a large community of people that just come to you for help, or they, your gym, or they come to you for coaching help, or your husband for coaching help, or nutritional help, right? And what do you find? Like, what is your secret? What is like the thing that you do to build that community? Because obviously that core of community kind of built LunaFit a bit, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
what built that for you? What was the success for you building that?
I think we have a good model, like I said, of really bringing what really works. So we get people results. We're able to bring them in, hear them and what their goals are, and actually show them results in a quick enough time frame that they want to keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if people don't see results in those first few weeks they're doing it, they want to give up. So making sure that they get results early has been big for us. Mm-hmm. And then just the fact that we care, like we know everybody's name that comes in here. We know what their goals are. We know a little bit about their life. If they're struggling, like we just genuinely care. We genuinely care whether they're getting healthy or not getting healthy. So I think between being able to get people results and then just them understanding that we actually truly care about them and whether they come in, like if someone hasn't been to class in a week, we reach out to them. We say, hey, we've missed you. So it's definitely not a typical gym feel.
Yeah. And I know too, because you're obviously working besides the app. I mean, the app you have is as your primary goal of like, I want to launch, so I want to help people. Are there any other exciting projects that are coming, do you think, in this year or in the future for LunaFit? Like, what does the future look like and what the goals are for that?
Yeah. So like I said, my husband focuses more on the fitness side, the gym side. I'm much more on the nutrition side. I love my meal prep company.
Yeah.
I spend time there, and I think that we're really going to be able to grow and hopefully start shipping outside of Florida into larger areas. Because again, I think the way we do meal prep is just better. It's, fresh and has an actual correct balance of macros to lose body fat.
Yeah.
Which I don't see in most of the meal prep companies that are out there, which is why we kind of started one, because we couldn't find one that we wanted to recommend to our clients. So I think that we'll really be able to grow that.
That's great. That's so cool to hear. I would also love to hear too, like about you, like either from clients or people that you've experienced with helping. Like, I'd love to hear like a success story from you, like the results that you got from these people.
Yeah, sure. I always have one client that stands out. It was just like such a big deal for me. So she came to me early in my training career, actually, like when I kind of was transitioning out of my corporate career into this. And she came to me and she had quite a bit of weight to lose. She wanted to lose at least 100 pounds. And so I was like, okay, I'm like pepping myself up. I can do this. Because I never really had anyone that was at that level, a scale that, came to me. So we just started working out and I put her on a nutrition plan, and she was an extra challenge because she's a vegetarian.
Fun.
Our nutrition format is high protein, moderate carb, low fat.
Yeah.
It's really hard to eat high protein when you're vegetarian. So, but put her on a plan, helped her be consistent. And she started losing. And by the end of our journey, she'd lost 150 pounds.
Wow.
She even had surgery to get some of the extra skin removed. But when she came to me, she was just lacked confidence. And all she wanted was to have the American dream life. She was a nurse, but she wanted to have a boyfriend. She never had a boyfriend before. And she was in her mid-20s, I think. And, she wanted to get married and have a white picket fence and have kids. And while we were training, after she'd lost some weight, she met a guy. And they started dating. And so she had her boyfriend. And I think really the pinnacle of the whole experience for me is she invited me to their wedding.
Wow.
And
that's so cool.
I know. I'm going to get choked up. This is how I actually care about our clients.
Yeah.
And it was just such an amazing experience to go to her wedding because she looked so beautiful in her dress and she was so happy. And I keep up with her on social media, and she lives in Tennessee in her house with her husband and have a little girl. And it's just like, man, like what a validation for what we're doing, just that one person that really kind of stands out to you. Mm-hmm. And just being able to expand that out to so many people that feel like her, that don't look for help, that I'm hoping in app form
Yeah.
would be more likely to get that help than than they would in person. So
That's great.
I think of her all the time through clients, through creating the app, through all the things that we do. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's just a big one. And we have lots of success stories. We have a whole 100-pound club in the gym, but she stands out to me because it was early in my career and it was so personal. We spent so much time together, and she cried on my shoulder so many times because weight loss is very personal.
Yes.
And people have a lot of feelings about food and body image, and it's really tough sometimes.
Yes.
So really being there for people as you're coaching them makes a difference. And that is something that we want to figure out in the app too. Like, how do we push people through those hard spots where they're usually like, I can't do this anymore,
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I really love the fact of what you're talking about, just helping people every day. And like, you just sharing that success story was kind of amazing. Just like the view you have of people, like, and just like their, I know a lot of people who've like helped this one person and just totally changed their perspective about life and livingness. And it's like, now it's like, I really know why I'm here and like what I'm doing. So I really appreciate the time you kind of given us, and like, just, between having a husband, a kid, like, so I already know having a husband is a lot, but having a kid is twice as a lot, So I really appreciate the time you kind of given, just really answering a lot of questions for us on fitness and your new app and just all these things around. So I guess before we end off here, I would love for people to know a little bit about you. Like, maybe they want to connect with you, and just kind of like a little bit about yourself, and just maybe a present if you guys have like a gift you want to give to people.
Of course I have a gift.
Good. So I would love to share. I would like if you can share with us, like, what is the best place people can reach out to you to kind of find you, or like even just get that free gift of yours of any kind. So yeah.
So they can find out more about us at lunafitjourney.com.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually find a product there. It's a Jumpstart Your Fitness Journey. It's basically 5 simple tips. So it's kind of like what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And it just really just puts it out there. This is how you can start. These are the 5 simple things you can do. It doesn't have to be hard. People come to us with failure after failure around weight loss.
Yeah.
Because there's too much information. So just start with this guide. When you go to that website, you'll be able to find more information on the app as well. And even join our beta test if they're interested until we release in a couple weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, lunafitjourney.com. I hope everyone goes and downloads it. And I've had such a great time here with you. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope everyone listening enjoyed a few of the things I had to say.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on, because I know everyone who's on here, CEOs and founders, they got lives, they're busy, especially we're coming into that new year. So I really appreciate the time you kind of given us. Especially us, for me, and for the audience here. And of course, I thank everyone for listening to this channel. If you guys like this stuff, please like and subscribe to this. And if you guys want to hear more of her, please let me know. And if you guys want to be on podcasts, also let me know too. All right. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah.